Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew a girl so smart, so responsible.
Making headlines this morning, voters will soon decide on a multi-million-dollar technology referendum for Rochester Public Schools. What this could mean for students and the district. Plus, taking the right steps to brace yourself ahead of another cold and flu season. Experts are sharing what you can watch out for.
Warmth holds on. Today we have some sunshine in store for Wednesday, or Thursday, that is. The full forecast details are coming up.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Rochester Public Schools wants residents to vote yes to a technology referendum in November. Good morning. I'm Kelsey Marrier. The district is seeking approval for a levy of more than $10 million annually to improve district technology over the span of 10 years. This includes buying new computers, enhancing learning software, and improving cybersecurity. RPS says the tax impact would be an increase of $135 on average annually in property taxes. Superintendent Ken Pickell spoke to residents Wednesday night about the referendum. He says it plays a critical role in keeping the district financially stable. In the last few years, RPS has cut $20 million from its budget by eliminating jobs.
We are getting much closer to where we can really say we have a sustainable financial strategy for the future and we're not cutting every year. I will say that if this referendum doesn't pass in November, we will be cutting another $10 million next year, for sure. And maybe more, depending on where some of the other variables play out. So there is a certain moment of urgency and importance in that.
Residents can vote on this referendum on Election Day, which is November 7th. Olmsted County has announced its preliminary 2024 property tax levy. According to the Olmsted County Board of Commissioners, it's set at a little more than $130 million. This would be funded through county and HRA property taxes. It's important to note that the preliminary levy is a maximum amount. If approved, this will be a 5.2% increase over this year. The board is expected to approve the final budget and levy for next year on December 19th. We did reach out to Olmsted County leaders to find out more about what the impact would be on taxpayers. We are told the county is waiting for property records and licensing to finish, a step that needs to take place next month to fully understand that impact. New details this morning in the court case against the Madeline Kingsbury murder suspect. The rescheduled omnibus hearing for Adam Fravel is now set for Friday, October 13th in Winona County. That hearing was originally set for tomorrow. This gives both sets of attorneys an opportunity to make pre-trial motions and other requests. Time now for our first check of our forecast. Of course, we're welcoming back our meteorologist, Ted Schmidt. He's been gone for a little while, which I know you all have noticed, and he has been gone. You were gone at a cruise for your anniversary.
Yeah, I went up to Alaska for more than a week.
I know.
Quite some time, actually. Yeah.
And you had a great time?
I had an amazing time. Yeah, very, very, just amazing scenery. Just, I can't even describe it. You know, you take pictures of it, but the pictures don't even do it justice.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And you see the whales. You saw some bears in the woods. Didn't get too close to the bears. You saw them from a distance. They were walking away. That's perfect angle.
Yes.
And just some interesting Alaska weather.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm
some
sure.
Cool dampness, but it was still, you know, as long as you're prepared for it, you have the rain gear and the sweater, you're good to go.
Well, we're going to show you a bunch of pictures. We're going to be going through pictures throughout the newscast, so we'll get into that later. But Ted, tell us about weather here.
The weather here looks fantastic. Another great looking day. We got to 80 yesterday. In fact, 82 was the official high temperature. We're going to reach the 80-degree mark again today. Current scene from our Lewiston auto camera. This is from our studio looking southward from Signal Hill. It's 65 right now. Very summer-like morning. South wind 6 miles per hour. Dew point 60. So fair amount of humidity in the atmosphere, and that eventually may lead to some fog developments. None of that being depicted so far, but some of that may develop in the next 2 or 3 hours. Rochester 61. It's 55 in Mesa City and 64 in Owatonna. Skies are generally clear with just a couple of patches of clouds nearby. Rain to the west, still more than a day away. Maybe see some isolated showers late tomorrow. Better chance rolls in for Saturday and even Sunday, looking kind of unsettled. So the weekend looking like the wettest part of the week, but at this point in a drought, I think we'll be glad with whatever we get. Weather almanac, typical high this time of the year is 70, and we're going to blow right past that by mid-morning, looking for high around 80 degrees. A lot of sunshine after maybe a little bit of fog at first, and just a slight southeast breeze. Altogether, a really nice late summer day.
All right, another warm day on tap.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Flu season is upon us, and doctors say you should pay extra attention when it comes to your respiratory health. Scientists are not exactly certain why fall is a season where respiratory illnesses happen more often. Common illnesses this time of year include the flu, COVID, allergies, and RSV. We did speak with the Association of American Medical Colleges' Dr. Scott McKinney. He says those illnesses have cold-like symptoms such as a runny nose, cough, fever, headache, and muscle ache. He suggests wearing a mask if possible, but more importantly, to consider getting vaccinated against COVID. And there are some flu shots available at your local Hy-Vee and CVS pharmacies in Rochester. Meanwhile, as COVID-19 cases continue to rise around the country, some may be looking to renew their COVID vaccine. In the Rochester area, there are a number of options to help combat the latest strains of the virus. Olmsted County Public Health is providing vaccines for people who are uninsured or underinsured. You can schedule that by calling the agency. The county says to check with your insurance provider to see if you qualify for that. Also, the Minnesota Department of Health is providing at-home COVID-19 tests. All you have to do is enter your information through its website. It was also recently announced that the Biden administration will resume offering free at-home tests to American households starting on Monday. For more information about all this, you can visit our website, KTTC.com. Writers and producers say they are nearing an agreement to end the Writers Guild of America strike after meeting face-to-face on Wednesday. The two sides hope to finalize a deal today. WGA members have been on strike for more than 100 days, with actors joining the picket line in July. This appears to be the closest the two sides have come to a resolution since the more than 11,000 film and TV writers went on strike. They argue their compensation does not match the revenue that's been generated during the streaming era. Sources tell NBC that if a deal is not reached, the strike could last through the end of the year. NBC's David Faber will have the very latest details on this developing story coming up after us this morning on Today. A man sought in connection to the slaying of a family of 4 in a Chicago suburb has been found dead inside a burning car in Oklahoma. The suspect was in the car with a woman who was also a person of interest before she was reported missing and in danger by her family on Tuesday. Officers located the suspect in a vehicle and tried to stop him, but the car crashed and caught fire while trying to speed away. When police approached, they found a critically wounded woman inside and the man fatally shot in the driver's seat. The Ukrainian capital of Kyiv has endured more than 1,000 hours of air raid alarms since the start of the Russian invasion. That's according to the head of the city military administration. Explosions have been heard in different regions of Ukraine following attacks on several parts of the country. One of those attacks happened early this morning in Kyiv, leaving several people hurt, including a 9-year-old girl. Authorities say 3 of them are in the hospital, 4 were treated on the spot. The 2024 Olympic crowds will admire a new spire towering over the iconic Notre Dame in Paris. The cathedral's new reconstruction chief says he wanted the scaffolding around the spire to be taken down before the Olympic Games kick off in the French capital next summer. At a ribbon-cutting event outside the cathedral, workers were installing cutting-edge fire protection systems in all parts of that 12th century structure. Student loan payments have been on pause since March of 2020, and now in just 10 days, they are set to restart all across the country. We reached out to a financial planning service in Rochester. Experts there say a number of things borrowers can take into account to prepare for making payments again. A variety of programs can help with this, including income-driven repayment plans. These help to organize how borrowers can pay back their loans over a set amount of years. However, for these plans to work, you must also qualify for forgiveness programs, and there are a number of ways to qualify for that. On a Throwback Thursday, demolition of the historic Zumbro Hotel, which stood at the corner of 1st Avenue and 1st Street Southwest, began in September of 1987, just days after this photo right here was taken. The hotel had opened 75 years earlier in March of 1912 and was connected to Mayo Clinic's 1914 building. When it first opened, the Zumbro was the tallest building in town. The Rochester Marriott Hotel is now located at the former site of the Zumbro Hotel. It is 4:40. The Vikings make a big move to try and improve the run game. Plus, we're going to find out if the Minnesota Lynx were able to extend their season in the WNBA playoffs. That's coming up next in sports. First, here's Ted.
Pretty quiet, warm weather day ahead of us, but we do have some active weather headed our way for the weekend. That means rain chances, something we have to keep our fingers crossed for, but we do have something to talk about. The latest in your forecast is coming up after the break.
Good morning, friends. I'm Julian Mitchell. We get started on the hardwood. The Lynx season came to a close last night. It was a tough night for the team, and it's winner-take-all Game 3 with the Sun falling 90-75. Connecticut threw its best punch behind a combined 53 points from DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas, the latter going for 28 points, 12 assists, and 6 boards. Evisa Collier did all she could, dropping 31 points. It just wasn't enough. The Lynx finished the year 19-21. The hardwood to the diamond next. The Twins took out the Reds in its series finale yesterday, 5-3. Roy Polanco, the hero, with the clutch 2-out single in the 9th to win the game. And with the win and Guardians' loss, Minnesota's magic number is down to 1. Now the team is off today, but there is a scenario to clinch. Big part of it rests with the Guardians, who face the Orioles tonight in Baltimore. Lastly, Vikings made some news yesterday. Team announced that it's adding running back Cam Akers in a trade with the LA Rams. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the teams will swap late-round picks in 2026 in the deal. Akers started 15 games in his 4 years with the Rams, totaling over 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also had 250 receiving yards and a touchdown as well. Akers rushed for 756 yards, 7 TDs in 2022. Vikes hope he can bolster a run game, which ranks bottom last in the NFL at 34.5 yards a game. Vikings are getting set for Sunday. Looks to get the first win of the season against the Chargers. That is a look at sports. It's a good day. Have a great day.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Pretty mild, very quiet weather day ahead of us. We start the day in the 60s, and in the 50s we have a little bit of fog that's also beginning to develop. So a couple of late summer elements in our weather going on right now. Not unusual to have a little fog late in the summer. Temperatures this time of the year cooling to that dew point level. So look for some of that to go on here for a little bit longer this morning until about maybe 8 or 9 o'clock. We'll have to deal with maybe some of that fog. Right now, the skies are generally clear to partly cloudy. Look across the map. Some of our live Lewis Donato cameras showing pretty benign weather picture. We do have a little bit of fog in North Iowa, noticing some visibility levels dropping in the past hour or so. Charles City down to a quarter mile, even less than that in Decorah. So look for some thick fog, especially on the Iowa side of the border. We may see some of that thickening here in southern Minnesota in the next couple of hours. Yesterday we reached the low 80s, 82, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. That was our high temperature, incredibly warm for this time of the year, considering 70 as the seasonal average for the beginning of astronomical fall, of course we're in the middle of meteorological fall now, but 80 something. Not unusual though to do something like that in September, even though we move toward the beginning of October. Even October has the occasional early month 80-degree day, and it may yet still happen the next couple of weeks. But right now 61 in Rochester, a very mild start to the day. Average low this time of the year to start the day would be around 50, so we're way above that now. 59 in Cresco, 55 in Forest City. We have clear skies, 61 in Rochester. Just a gentle south breeze. Dew point 60 though, not far from the temperature. And again, as we cool off toward that dew point level, that's when you see saturated atmosphere, and some of that fog may develop in the next couple of hours. Skies are generally clear to partly cloudy overhead. Again, there's that front approaching for the west. There are showers developing ahead of it. The warmth building in, a little more humidity, priming the atmosphere for rain chances. We'll see some of those developing maybe tomorrow. Best chances those Saturday and Sunday, even some thunder at times, and severe weather risk pretty marginal for late Saturday. We'll be watching for that. Otherwise, behind that front, showers and Sunday next week. Not that many rain chances, but some very seasonable temperatures, much more September-like flavor in our forecast. But right now, skies are pretty clear. We're looking at some sunshine throughout the day. Beautiful sun-filled summer-like Thursday. Tomorrow, again, flirting with 80s, or at least well into the 70s. Slight chance of a shower or two. Some of this pop up maybe by early afternoon. Very sparse opportunity for rain. Better chances lying ahead for Saturday. One line of storms comes in first thing Saturday morning around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll have another line of storms, perhaps a little bit stronger by evening around 6 or 7 o'clock. So we'll be watching for that for hail and some strong wind gusts potential on that Saturday outlook. Sunday, but leftover shower, maybe a rumble of thunder, not many, but looks like we'll have some 60s for highs. Today, mostly sunny, 80 southeast winds, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, down to 56 we go. And then 7-day forecast starting kind of summer-like, but ending kind of fall-like with those upper 60s next week. But nothing we can't handle at this point. We're in September mode now, and we've got our safety belts buckled. We're ready for anything. A little bit of rain would be good, too.
Well, a variety of weather in our forecast. You also probably experienced a variety of weather in Alaska, which is
the sun even came out a couple times.
Yeah.
So it's all sorts of variety.
Well, let's take a look at some of the photos from your trip. We got a couple to show this half hour, and then we're going to show a couple more later.
Yeah,
so let's.
Go
ahead.
We're going to see what you show.
Go ahead.
A bunch in. We did go into Yukon Territory. We went from Skagway, rented a car. Kara and I are there. We had our friends Elizabeth and Darren. They came with us as well. Elizabeth was in our wedding many years ago. So we've known her for forever and ever. We went through Yukon up to the Emerald Lake, which is very pretty. It is really that green. It is, and that's the sunniest day we had by far. It was got to I think the 70s or close to 70 in the afternoon. But we were there in the morning. It was only about 51 degrees, and the water was about 50 degrees. And I thought it's such a beautiful color of emerald green. I wanted to jump in, so I did go swimming.
Of course. Well, we all know.
It reminded me of swimming in Superior.
Okay.
Lake Superior.
Yeah.
Very much like that.
A nice 52 degrees water. Yeah.
It was invigorating. It was clear, colorful.
Stunning.
But it was beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Well, we can't wait to look at more photos, and we're so happy to have you back, Ted.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I hope the schedule's not too hard for you. The time change and then working
I know.
this
It's still in Alaska
hour.
time.
There you go.
It's still party time, midnight there. Yeah?
Thank you. It is 4:50. We are telling you about a recall that involves a popular cheese product that may have you checking your fridge when we come back.
KTTC weather brought to you by Ryan.
Get ready to shell out even more cash when heading to the gas pump. Our Ag Day Minute explains why.
I'm Michelle Brook with today's Ag Day Minute, coming to you from our studios in Kansas City. We told you earlier this week about higher gas prices. Now a warning, they could go even higher. Goldman Sachs predicts oil prices will average $100 a barrel a year from now. The investment banking giant citing Saudi Arabia's aggressive supply cuts is the reason. Brent crude, the world benchmark, currently sells for around $94 a barrel. $100 a barrel would be bad news for drivers who are already experiencing pain at the pump. Amazon says it plans to hire 250,000 workers and boost employee pay ahead of the holiday season, while Target said it plans to add 100,000 seasonal workers in line with last year's hiring. And despite inflation, those higher gas prices and the resumption of student loan repayments, Deloitte says U.S. retail sales are expected to remain resilient. It's calling for a growth in holiday sales, albeit at a slower rate. And Kraft is voluntarily recalling roughly 83,000 cases of individually wrapped Kraft Singles American. According to the statement from the company, a thin strip of the individual film may remain on the slice after the wrapper's been removed. Kraft Heinz says that they could pose a choking hazard. It characterized the problem as a temporary issue with one of its wrapping machines. It says the problem has been fixed. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on this station or anytime at agweb.com.
It is 4:56. A Minneapolis murder suspect is mistakenly released from an Indiana prison. He's still on the run this morning. What authorities say happened. We have that and your first alert forecast when KTTC News Today returns.
Ag Day Minute brought to you by Jen Bush.
In the news this morning, the topic of school resource officers in Minnesota still at the forefront of state leaders' minds, what the governor and attorney general have to say about the new law.
Plus, stepping inside a brand new home, we have a sneak peek at the Rochester Area Builders Fall Showcase of Homes.
We have another bright summer-like day ahead of us. Our Thursday may feature some 80s again. The latest year forecast is coming up.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Questions continue about new rules for Minnesota school resource officers. Good morning. I'm Jess Abrahamson.
And I'm Kelsey Marrier. Good morning. Districts across the state are pulling officers out of schools, saying the new law lacks clarity. Republicans continue to sound the alarm on the new law meant to limit use of force by SR.